So here I am again with my roots. I played around with the settings of my camera trying to pull all that pinky orange out of it. So today we may be a little neutral, but it's better than being pinky orange. All right, so today I have a lot of new things to share with you. One being a brand new makeup line for me and perhaps for many of you, and also for FREEZECO Beauty. She is now carrying a makeup line called ALIMA PURE. It is a mineral makeup line, which you know I actually love. So we are going to try out quite a few items from that line. I do have a few of the eyeshadows, but because I am going to be using the new BKBeauty collaboration with Angie from Hot&Flashy, I'm going to try out her 7 brushes, brand new brushes. I'm very excited about the concealer brush because first of all, it's like a little cat's paw. That I didn't make that up, Scott Barnes did. But it's like a little cat paw, and it also is very much like my most favorite foundation brush when I am using a brush to apply foundation from BKBeauty. I already love BKBeauty brushes. I have 2 brands that I love. My synthetic brushes are from BKBeauty. I absolutely love all of them. And then I like my Refer natural brushes. I really don't venture out into any other brushes because they both get the job done for me. So today we're going to try out Angie's brushes, and very excited about this because it also makes me remember and miss my Tom Ford concealer brush. It was very similar to this and I loved that brush, so I have high hopes for this. So we are going to use all 7 of her brushes, and they are available now on BKBeauty. So I thought because I am going to be reviewing Angie's brushes, I would stick with eyeshadows that I am very familiar with, but I did get many of the mineral-based eyeshadows from ALIMA PURE, which I will do in another video. All right, so we are going to get started. I am going to be using a foundation from ALIMA PURE, and I'm going to start with their primer. I usually like to put this on a few minutes before just to allow it to set, but I didn't. I was too busy trying to fix this silly camera. So this feels just like any other. It actually has a little less slip in it than a lot of primers. And I'm not going to go over my eyebrows because I already did them, so I didn't have to go off camera for this. So it does have a little bit of a tackiness, not a gripping primer like the Milk. It doesn't have that slippery silicone feeling. These are all clean products. I will link FREEZECO Beauty below so you can go and take a look at this line. So now that the primer is set, we are going to get started. Now this line does have a primer powder. It's Pistachio Color Balancing. And what that is for is if you have redness, you can put it on before the mineral powder foundation. So I'm going to go ahead, even though I don't have a lot of redness, I just want to see how it feels for you guys, all right? So we are going to take a look. So if you're someone who suffers from rosacea or you just have a lot of redness, this may be something for you. Now it does have just a hint of green to it, and if you look into any other line, when they have green, that is to cancel out red. So I'm going to go in with one of my favorite BKBeauty brushes, and I have several of these. This is the 102. I'm going to just go ahead and load this brush up, and I'm going to work it into the fibers just like I do any other mineral powder. That's what's important, is that you really work it in and then tap it off. Now I'm just going to do this over my cheeks, and my redness isn't really acting up today, but we'll just see what it looks like on the skin. We'll go all over. Why not? Let's go all over. Okay, all right. So let's take a look. Doesn't really look like anything. I don't have a lot of redness, like I said, so for me to cancel out the redness, it really isn't letting me know, but it does have a nice feel to it, and I don't see it on the skin because as an aging woman, I don't need to pile on all kinds. Even though I am going to be using quite a few powder products today, it's not going to look like what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply my concealer. Normally I would apply my concealer after a liquid foundation, but because I'm going to be using a mineral powder, I want to go ahead and lay down my concealer. Now the ALIMA PURE line did come with a concealer, but I'm not going to use it. It's very similar to the Bobbi Brown cream. It actually looks very nice. I'll swatch these at the end. But because I'm going to be trying Angie's concealer brush, I want to work with a concealer I know I like and works for me. So it is the Lancome Tint Ultra Wear. So I'm going to go ahead and just apply a small amount of this right in the corner, and I pretty much just press it in that spot. And then I will do the outer edge here because I have very green veins. So I'm going to go ahead and camouflage that out. I'll pick up some more of that concealer. You don't need a lot of this. And I'll just tap it into the dark area. And I'm also going to do a little bit of the lid because she has darkness. So now I'm just going to work a little bit of that concealer into the brush. It's really pretty. It's like a, I'd say it's a slate blue. Maybe I'm colorblind, but it looks like it's not a real navy blue. They're very pretty brushes. So just taking a little bit of that concealer, I just want to make sure it's in the fibers because that's how I work with things. And I'm just going to go ahead and I pounce and I drag. So I'm pouncing and just dragging down slightly. And I'll take whatever's left over and apply it to the lid. This is beautiful, applying great. So I'm really just packing it all on to the areas that really need it, and then the excess I will just apply under my eye. And then I will do the same thing on the top, really working it into the dark corners. This brush is perfect for the eye area. Very soft bristles, but it's firm, so it's not losing the product. And you do have to work quickly with this concealer. So again, I'm just tapping it over my veins, and you can see that it has really applied nicely. So I'm just going to go ahead . So I'm just working that product over the lid area, and I really want to just clean it up in here. Very nice. Very nice brush. Perfect for concealer. And you know me, just because a brush was created for something, if it works for you in other areas, then you go for it. This brush could be a brush you've been longing for something else. Okay, so concealer's on. It's drying down nicely. The brush is perfect. Love it. It is shaped perfect. It applies the product perfectly. It doesn't eat up the product. That's important. It's a really nice brush. It has a nice feel in your hands. Really nice job, Angie and BKBeauty. Okay, so next I'm going to apply the mineral foundation. Keep in mind, I have not used this. Of all the colors I have, I picked Neutral 4, and this is a satin matte foundation. I'm going to go ahead and put some in the lid. And then I'm going to go back in with that same brush, the 102. This is my most favorite powder brush of all that I have. I have expensive, I have in between. I love this brush. You see me use this all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up that mineral powder, and I'm working it into the fibers of the brush. And then I'm going to tap it off. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and start applying this. And this is supposed to be a buildable mineral powder. So you can build this up. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to go over my face with the first layer. So we're going back in, picking up more product because I didn't have enough for my forehead. And we're going to tap that off. And now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do my forehead first because I haven't done it yet. And then I'm just going to start going around my face again to see how this builds up. Most mineral powders, when you start building up on them, they get a little waxy looking. That's been my experience with them. Okay, so that is what it looks like. That's 2 layers of it. I think it has a nice finish. Let me take a look in the mirror. Yeah, it has a nice finish. I think I need a little bit more of a pore refining primer for me. The cheek areas it looks fine, but my nose, I have a little bit of pore issue with age. So I probably would use a pore primer in the T-zone area to help camouflage the pores. If you're somebody who does not have a lot of pore issues, this would be just fine. But for me, I think I need something a little bit more. So now they do have a finishing powder, and it's a satin finishing powder. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply it, and then we will move on to Angie's eyeshadow brushes. So I'm just taking a little bit of the powder. I'm going to go in with my BKBeauty 102. I was using a 102 before, but now this is a clean one. I tell you, I love this brush. I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick swipe over. It's the finishing powder, and it does have a satin finish. Oh yeah, it does. It has a pretty finish to it. Nice. There's no glitter. I can't see any sparkles in it. I hope that you can see it. I have no lights on me today. All I have is the window open, and that is it. So I'm hoping that the light will be perfection. All right, I'm going to go in. I'm going to start my eyes. I'm going to be using a Dior palette, and I'm first using the A501, and this is your all-over color, or for packing color on nicely. So I'm going to go into the middle color here. It picks up product nicely. I'm going to just pack it on the lid. I'm going to use these brushes just like I use all my other brushes. So I'm just packing on the lid. And the Dior shadows are beautiful. And this is picking up nicely and laying down nicely. I'm going to carry this all the way up. I'm just going to pick a little bit more of it up. And I'm going to go all the way up to the brow bone with this. It's placing nicely. And then I'm just going to sweep to make sure I have a smooth canvas. Very nice. All right, I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye, and I will be right back. Okay, so there is the first layer, and again, I used the A501 in the set. I'll tell you what I like about the brush is it has a density to it, but it's not too dense. But what's really nice is the size of it. As we age, our hand becomes unsteady, our eyes change on us, and some of us just have smaller eyes, some of us have larger eyes. But this is a perfect size for the aging eye, for all eyes, but I am a 62-year-old woman. So this is a perfect brush for application because it's not oversized and I can control where I want my shadow to go. So I like this brush, it performs really well. All right, so now we are going to move on to the next one, which is our crease brush, and this is A501, and this is just to help you define your crease area. And again, what's really nice about it is look at the size of it, not too big. A lot of crease brushes are just too big to really get detailed work inside the crease, especially if you are not an expert at applying your makeup, and every day you're trying to learn the perfect application. Your brushes are important. That's why I say, just because a brush says it's for one thing, if you can find that it works for you using it for something else, then that's what you do. So we are going in with the A502, and it has a really nice small tip, but not too small. It's perfect. All right, so I think I'm going to go in. Why don't we live on the edge today? I'm going to go in with this plummy color here, and I'm going to use that in my crease. Now, it picked up the color nicely. Now, if you have a younger eye, I used to be able to really sweep across with no problem, and if you have a very light touch, you can still succeed. But as we age, the skin really, she becomes very loose, and she moves where she wants to, when she wants to. So it's best to maybe tap it in. And just lay down your color that way, and you'll have better control. Because now, I used to be able to sweep, 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 get it done. Now when I sweep, the skin moves with it, so it's not as easy. Believe me, I have to relearn how to do everything as I age too. I mean, it's not like it was for me years ago. So again, now that I've laid it down, I'll just take little baby strokes back and forth. And I'm not really moving that color around. I'm just softening it and making sure that I have no harsh lines. And that is the application. This is a really nice brush. I'm actually going to go in and put a little bit more on. This is really nice. It's like the perfect size. So I'm going to go ahead and just tap some more of that color in. It's beautiful. I love it. Yep, love it. Okay, so that is our crease color laid down. The brush performs perfectly. Perfect size for an aging eye or a smaller eye. And don't forget, ladies, we can use this brush for other things too. Yes, we can. So that was the A502. So next I'm going to take the A503, which is the blending brush, and this will just help to blend out the crease area. Now, to be honest with you, this brush does a really good job at blending it out and applying it. So I don't have a whole lot to blend out, but I'll go ahead and just make sure that I have no harsh lines above and just soften. You're almost diffusing that line. You just want to diffuse that line out, but you don't want to remove any of the crease color. So you're going just slightly above, and I just work either in circular or back and forth, whatever works best for your hand. And notice I'm holding the brush again down towards the end so that I don't apply a lot of pressure and move the color around too much. You just want to soften and diffuse. Beautiful. It's a really nice size brush. Again, that's A503. Okay, so we are going in with the A504, and this one is even smaller yet. It's a dense brush. It's to help you detail. So we're going to go into the burgundy. And I'm going to tap it in. Okay, so the sun just went behind the clouds, so it's a little dark for just a moment. Okay, so I'm going to take the A504 and I'm going to detail right in the corner. Pick up a little bit more, and I'm going to really darken the corner out. And I'm creating that little wedge, or V, whatever you want to call it, and I'm packing it on. Really helps you to get good placement because of its size, and the density is really nice. It's not too dense, but it's not too soft. I personally don't care for super soft brushes, and when I'm saying soft, I don't mean the actual fibers. I mean when you press, how much the brush spreads. I think you get better control with a brush when it has a little bit more density to it, especially when you are detailing. So this is really a nice brush. And I'm just pretty much putting that color in the outer wedge, bringing it in just slightly. You can also go back in now with your blending brush and just soften that so that you have no harsh lines, but you still have your definition. And I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye, and I'll be right back. All right, next we're going in with the A505, and this brush can be used to apply shimmer, or it can be used as a lip brush. So I am actually going to apply a little bit of shimmer. And which one do I want? I think I'm going to go in with this one right here. So I'm going to pick up some of that satin. This is not really a shimmer, it's a satin finish, but the texture is different than a matte. And I'm going to go ahead and just tap a little bit of it off. And now I'm going to just place that right in the center, and I'm just going to tap it on and then drag slightly. Very nice. This is a very nice brush. It does a really good job. Look at that. That really went on nicely. I have to say I'm really impressed with this brush. Really impressed with this one. This brush is really, really nice. Perfect. Now, of course, if you're going to apply some satin finish, you might need two brush sets. If you're going to apply the brightness to the inner eye, if you've applied a color like me, you'll have to clean the brush so that you don't put that. I'm just going to go right to the inner eye with this, but I'm not going to put as much on. So I have a satin finish all the way across. This is really, really a nice brush. Okay, I'm going to finish up the other eye and I will be right back. Okay, so there are all of the eye brushes in action. So now I want to do a little bit of detailing underneath my eye. If you're going to work with a satin, this one here is really, really nice, and you can really detail underneath. And even if you have contacts, you might want to, this really holds the product nicely and it doesn't spray all around. But I'm going to go in with the smallest brush, the 504, and I'm not really going to pick up any more color. I'm just going to join the outer edge here on both sides. Always working up. And the brush is small enough that you can get tightly up underneath those lashes. Very, very nice. Nice. Okay, so now I'm going to take the brush this is the A505, the one I used to apply the satin, and I'm just going to take what's left over and I'm just going to sweep it lightly. Very nice. Just applies it right where you want it. If you want to drag it down a little, you can. Smoke it out, you can. I have contacts in, so a little bit of powder gets in there. Really nice. Very nice. I am very, very impressed. Good job, Angie and BKBeauty. Very, very nice eye brushes. So now there is this is your A507, and this is for blush. Now we are going to move in with our bronzer, which is from ALIMA Pure. And the bronzer color is Mauna Low. It's like a Hawaiian name. And what's nice about these is they don't just have, you just don't rip it off and then it spills all out. You can open and close these. So I'm going to go ahead and put some bronzer in the lid. Now I have not used this. I don't know the color, but I am going to go in with a BKBeauty, and this is the 107. Now I'm not going with a big brush because I really want to control where my bronzer is going. So I have been actually pressing my bronzer in lately and moving it up higher as to not drag my face down, because gravity, she wants to take care of that all by herself, and it's in the form of jowls, and that does not make me happy. So I'm going to work this in. I'm going to cover all angles of the brush and really work it in, because again, you don't want to have big blobs. And I'm going to tap off any excess, and now I'm going to go ahead and tap this in up higher, and it's very, very nice. Perfect. And I'm just going to go ahead and apply some of that to the forehead. You can go ahead and carve out the jawline if you like, but just make sure that you lift that bronzer up a little bit higher. You don't want it in that contour. Not at our age. If you're younger, that is fine. But with our age, we have to lift it up a little bit to help raise everything up. So I really do like that. It's a nice color, goes on nicely. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some more on the BKBeauty. And this is the 107. I like this brush for my bronzer. And I'm going to tap it off, and I'm going to go ahead and apply here, and I'll be right back. Okay, so bronzer is on. Okay, so now we're going to go in with our blush, and we're going to use the final brush from Angie's collection, A507. It's an angled brush. I'm going to use it to apply my blush. And for blush from the ALIMA Pure line we have Luminous Shimmer Blush or Satin Matte Blush. So I'm going to go in with the Satin Matte first, and I am using a color called Plum. Going to put it in the lid. Again, I have not used the blush, so flying by the seat of my pants. And again, I'm going in with the A507, and I'm going to really work it into the fibers of this brush. And you can see It's pretty darn concentrated, so we want to make sure. I'm going to take some of that off. I may have put too much, so if I end up with clown cheeks, don't hold it against me. So I'm going to go ahead and just press this blush to the higher points of my cheek. Place a little bit more right here. Okay, so blush performed well, and it applied well with the Angie Hot and Flashy 507, A507 brush. So now we are going to move on. They do have a shimmer blush, so I'm going to go ahead and use this shimmer blush as a highlighter just so we can see what it looks like. And it is, the color I'm using is Freja, or Freja? Freja. And I'm just going to put a tiny bit of it in the lid, and I'm going to go in with my BKBeauty. This is the 108. I like this for highlighter, so we're going to go ahead and just really work that mineral blush right into the fibers, tap it off. And now instead of sweeping, because I want perfect placement, I'm just going to tap this on. It has a very subtle glow to it. And then I'll pounce to bring out the sheen. Okay? Beautiful. All right, so now for lips, I'm going to go ahead and do, you know what? I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to do my eyelashes, and we will be right. I will have everything listed and linked below. And remember, if you want to see all the color swatches from the Pure ALIMA line, stick around for the end. Now I do have two lip glosses that are brand new from FITGLOW Beauty, and I posted these on Instagram on my post and stories. And I just love this lip balm, this formula, everything. And these are not colors I would normally wear, but I love them. And the first one that I'm wearing, and I have it on with no lip liner, it is just the lip gloss on its own because I did not want to change the color of it. And it is called Fresh, and it is from FITGLOW Beauty, and I just think it's beautiful. It's a blue pink, and I don't normally like blue pink, but this is gorgeous. And they're just really balmy on the lips, and they stay on. Even when I put a mask on and I take it off, it's all over the mask, but I still have that balmy color, that balmy lip feel with a little bit of color. So this is, again, Fresh from FITGLOW Beauty, and I do have a code that you can use on FREEZECO Beauty. Now, it's going to get a little confusing because ALIMA Pure only allows her to do 15% off, so my code for this is Tammy 15, but my code for FITGLOW Beauty and mostly everything else on her site is Tammy 20. So I'll put that below for you. If you're interested, you can go over. This again is called Fresh. I'm going to wipe this off and we're going to put the other one on, and you are not going to believe this one. Okay, so the next one is called Jam, and it kind of matches my shirt. And this shirt, I got to tell you, I love these t-shirts. I buy them from Target. They are, I think, $8, and I might be pricing them up too high, but I love them. I do have to buy a larger size in them, but I love the neckline of them. I just think they're fabulous, and they're really comfortable. And if I get anything on them or the dogs get anything on them, doesn't matter. They were only a couple bucks. Okay, back to the lip balm. This one is called Jam from FITGLOW Beauty, and this is not a color lipstick that I would gravitate towards, but as a gloss, it's very pretty. Watch, you'll see. Is that not gorgeous? It's beautiful. I love it. And again, this one is called Jam, and this is Fresh. Two brand new ones from FREEZECO Beauty. This is gorgeous for the fall. Both of them are beautiful. All right, so that is it for today's sharing video. Congratulations to Angie from Hot&Flashy. You did a great job with your brushes, and to BKBeauty for the collaboration. They really are nice brushes, and you can get them now on BKBeauty. You might want to hurry. They'll probably sell out. But even if you have someone who loves doing makeup, now's the time to think about holiday gifts. And this would be a great one because it pretty much has every eye brush you need. And I believe I still have an active code with BKBeauty, and it is Tammy10 that would allow you 10% off anything. And if you're in the market for face brushes, these are all of my favorites. I will have everything listed and linked below. But again, I have to say it again, I start Christmas shopping now. So if you want to really get ahead of the game, these are really great ideas for young girls or aging women, whoever, men, it doesn't matter. If you have a guy in your family that loves makeup, these are great, affordable brushes. All right, friends, so that is it for today's video. On your way out, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right there, and right next to it is a bell that will notify you of all the videos that I am putting out. Until the next time, my friends, you go out in the world and you be lovable. I love you all. Bisous.